Stuart Clark, an electrical engineer, worked in the Royal Australian Navy, and his spouse, Janelle Clark, civil engineer who worked in the local government, are two Australian citizens with an interesting story. Both quit their job and decided to trip around the world for 8 years. And over that time, took minimal holidays so not to spend unnecessarily, and saved hard for 5 years. They sold everything they had in Australia and purposely did not buy a house, instead staying in the Navy-provided housing. Yes, they have been living that dream and have been doing so with their motorbikes and 2 other companies you will get to see during the course of the program. But that dream is not complete without a voyage to Nigeria. In the course of this week, Stuart and Janelle came calling to 2 communities in Nigeria for tourism. We followed that adventure and present to you on our community reports for this week. Welcome to another episode. I'm glad to be your host. The World Tourism and Travel Council, a renowned group that captures tourism activities across the globe, states that in the year 2014, the total contribution of travel and tourism to GDP in Nigeria was 3.7 billion naira, a 4.1% of GDP, and is forecast to rise by 6.0 per annum to about 6.90 billion naira, and that represents 4.2% growth. Total contribution to employment through travel and tourism to employment was 3.6% of total employment, an equivalent of 2,198,500 employees. Visitors exports generated 108 billion naira, and that's at 0.8% of total exports. This is forecast to grow by 3.9% per annum from 2015 to 2025. In terms of investment, travel and tourism investment is put at 888.3 billion naira, or 6.6% of total investment, and expected to rise by 5.0% per annum over the next 10 years. So, expectedly, Nigeria is potentially a destination for tourism and visits. The story of tourism in Nigeria is defined exceptionally by the diversity in the people, culture, ethnicity, climate, events, ceremonies, historic sites, and interestingly, by the spirit of her citizens. Out of the communities from the 774 local government area in the country are images, concepts, traditions, ceremonies, and events that call out to visitors from within the country and various parts of the globe. The resilience of the Nigerian is reflected in the activity and achievements present in their everyday life and community, making it a hard-to-crack or break spirit. Indeed, the statistics of those who want to see the growth trajectory and who call into communities in the country continue to grow and surpasses projections. Only this week, all the way from Australia, is the story of a couple, Stuart and Janelle Clark, who are on a voyage to see the defining cultures of the Nigerian community. They are not alone on this visit. They have brought along 2 unusual companions, dogs. Their first dog, a pit bull named Skylar, died in Venezuela after being diagnosed with cancer. After that traumatic experience, fate connected them with Negrita and later Shadow in Colombia.
She's a little disabled. She's got a steel rod in her back right leg.
Oh, yeah.
And she was hit by a truck, and that's how we ended up with her. She was picked up by, rescued by a vet and rehabilitated. It was in Venezuela, a small little town in Venezuela, and it was just more of a shed than anything. And they didn't have x-rays or anything, they just cut it open and started operating, and did a pretty good job considering. And about 12 months later we came along and the vet asked if we could adopt her because she needed some one-on-one attention, so that's how we ended up with Weedy, or Negrita.
Shadow is from Colombia, and Stu and I actually were separated. I was riding ahead of him, and I was in Bogota already, and he was coming from Venezuela into Bogota, and he saw a car run her over. Because she's little, she survived, but she lost one of her eyes. So yeah, he picked her up off the road. Everyone in the local village said that she was a street dog. Nobody owned her. So we took her to a vet, got the eye removed, got her vaccinated and adopted her. Yeah, she's great. She's about 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Traveling on this occasion will be done on a motorbike for all 4 of them, as they've done across the world. A few communities will be visited, and everything has to be catered for ahead of the approximately 3 hours journey from Lagos, Nigeria's commercial city, into the ancient town in Oyo State, some 120 kilometers away. At every necessary stop, they are greeted with warm attention and obviously the curiosity about their travel style.